In DLA, we pride ourselves on being innovative and forward-thinking. And over the years, our agency has adopted a number of programs focused on improving specific areas and processes. But none of these programs looked at the entire picture or provided the tools necessary to examine the full scope of our operations. However, now our agency does have an efficient way of making our processes better, and it's called continuous process improvement. The goal of continuous process improvement, CPI, is not to fight fires or blame people. It is a never-ending effort to discover and eliminate the main causes of problems in existing processes by using small-step improvements rather than implementing one huge improvement. With CPI, improvement is a continual focus on all areas and activities within a given process. For example, when applied to depot operations, a CPI initiative might look at the entire chain of activities from procurement and receiving to storing and shipping, the physical pattern of those activities, and the administrative processes related to them. The best way to understand CPI is to see how DLA organizations and others have implemented it. Uniforms are much more than simply a way to identify members of our military services. They are functional ensembles designed head to toe to meet exacting requirements, from comfort and ruggedness for routine wear to utility and safety under mission-specific conditions. As the missions of the military services evolve, so do their uniforms. For DLA Troop Support, which provides those uniforms, every step in that evolution means changes up and down the supply chain.
Military uniforms are going to change based on the needs of the individual services and their missions, as well as technological advances. It's very important at DLA Troop Support that we play an active role partnering with the services to ensure that we're providing the best quality clothing and protective gear for our men and women in the services.
With uniform production such a major part of its business, DLA Troop Support selected it as a prime candidate for possible improvement. And in 2008, its clothing and textile division launched a CPI initiative.
I would tell you the overall objective was to try to understand the discipline, or should I say lack of discipline, we had in our life cycle management for our uniform products. What we found as we started peeling back the onion of some of the problems we were having, and we started doing some of the root cause analysis on why we were having symptoms such as back orders and due outs and others, we found that we did not have an overall map of the whole process.
This is a size 3.5.
When the Clothing and Textiles Supply Division looked into our CPI process project, one of the things that we discovered was that it really was taking at least 18 months, if not 24 months, to bring new items from the concept to actual delivery of the items to the warrior in the field. We needed to find a way to identify those areas where we could start cutting back on some of the extra time.
I'm going to put this up here.
One of the key pieces of this CPI project was that it enabled us to bring together experts from each of the different areas that are needed to bring a new item out to the warfighter. In other words, we have experts that knew each of their individual processes, but we didn't have someone looking at the entire process from the beginning to the end to see where those interactions between those experts could be improved, and we could move items faster through this life cycle.
Meeting once a week, the 10-member committee applied a particular set of CPI tools called Lean Six Sigma to understand the uniform production process. They began by mapping the process, building a diagram of all the steps of the process through the entire supply chain. They gathered data on each stage of the process and analyzed the data.
By mapping out the process and doing the flow charts, we determined what the problem was, and from that we found out the root cause. And once that was established, we then figured out a solution on how we were going to correct the problem. This was quite different from the usual because we were in a team and we all worked together to find out what the issue was.
With the goal of significantly reducing the length of the cycle, the committee targeted for improvement 24 areas within the uniform production process. The most urgent of those 24 involved government-furnished material, GFM.
Within this processing that GFM request.
The challenge with the government-furnished material was the attempt to expedite the amount of time it was taking to get to the contractor. One of the ways that we corrected that using the Lean Six Sigma was first to actually dedicate resources to learn and execute the programs as we determined was the correct way for them to be input. The second part of that was we developed a database and worked on monitoring the movement of the whole process, actually, from the time the contractor submits the request to the time that we're putting it into the system to then push out to the contractor from the depot where the cloth is stored.
Employees need to learn about Lean Six Sigma, CPI, and they need to embrace it. Nobody knows better how to improve a process than those people that are in the process. So they need to tell us what's wrong with it, where the holes are, where the problems are, and identify them and work towards a solution to make it better.
Continuous process improvement tools were originally developed in the private sector, and many of DLA's industrial partners have found real savings through robust CPI implementation. A good example is Consolidated Industries Incorporated.
Consolidated Industries has been in business for over 65 years. We're an interesting company. We make forgings in all metals, anywhere from ounces up to a couple hundred pounds. And we provide a significant amount of different products to the warfighter.
Consolidated Industries is deeply involved in the Forging Defense Manufacturing Consortium, FDMC, a coalition of government, industry, and academia focused on industry efficiency and new technologies. Through a program co-sponsored by the FDMC and DLA, Consolidated Industries was introduced to Job Shop Lean, a Lean Six Sigma program, specially suited to operations that produce a broad mix of products in small to moderate volumes.
We took the top 80% of the details that we make on a regular basis, and we process mapped all of those details. And then we created an extremely large matrix of all of those different products. And then we reviewed and flowed how they went through our facility, and we looked for opportunity to eliminate waste, eliminate travel time, to eliminate the levels of inventory we carry for those products within the facility.
Keeping in mind that CPI is about focusing on the customer, Consolidated Industries also worked with its biggest customers, including DLA, to gain a clearer picture of the warfighter's needs.
They're the ultimate customer when it comes to the warfighter. And so what are you looking for? What do you need? What are your problems? What don't you understand about what we're doing? What can we do to streamline the process?
As a result of adopting continuous process improvement, Consolidated Industries has strengthened its operations and its position in the market long term, an important goal of all businesses. Our customers must continually improve their strategies, tactics, weapons, and equipment to stay ahead of evolving threats around the world. DLA also must improve continually, and by implementing CPI tools focused on business process improvement, we can and will enhance our operational excellence enterprise-wide.
Once you do this on one or two projects, then you get better at it, and you start to apply the same techniques throughout your business, and as a result, your whole business starts to get better. So, and what happens when that goes on? Your costs go down, and everybody's costs go down. So you get to a point where you can make money, reinvest in your business.
One thing you'll find, and we've found in the whole CPI process, you can always get better. You can always find opportunities to improve. And that's what our job's got to be, is it's continuous process improvement.